All right, let's start off by saying Barakateh Hawa, Bashim Yahushai, Bahim, Ruchak Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is O. And pretty much what that is three of the letters that comprise what you're looking at on your screen, which is dealing with the WEF, the World Economic Forum. And I was just watching it, a little while ago. I just kind of caught the tail end of it, and I was just looking, at the panel, just looking at the symbolisms, and looking at the whole, way that the art is put together, on the World Economic Forum, and I just got the wheels turning. So, Lord's will, this will be an edifying lesson. This is on DW Live right now. They have live Ukrainian President Zelensky addresses World Economic Forum, but prior to that, they had this panel right here. One thing I noticed was you had 7 individuals up there. These devils do everything through numerology and all of that case. I'm not really sure why they have the panel at 7. I didn't really go that deep into it, but I know that it's nothing good. But I was also looking at the banner or the logo of the WEF, and when you look at it, right, which I happen to have it here, you have World Economic Forum, and you have wherever the O is at, you have this symbol here going through it. And O, if you know anything about the English letters, O is the 15th letter of the alphabet. And 1 and 5 is what? 6. So if you look at it closely, it's really 666. A very clever way. Esau, the scripture said that the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. So this is a good way for them to, push out through symbolisms, their plans and their agenda. And there's no coincidence that this is dealing with what? With the economy, right? Now, where is that other thing I had up here? Okay, now, before I go into the economy, right, this symbol right here automatically, because remember, the place where these individuals meet at is in Europe. And the main place they meet up is in Davos, Switzerland. Now, Davos, Switzerland, from what I remember from the research that I had done, is the highest point in Europe, the highest peak in Europe, if I'm not mistaken on that. I had done the research on it, and that is one of the reasons why they're doing that, because remember, you have mountains in the scriptures represent governments, and the highest point of a mountain is known as what? A summit. Now when you look at the definition of the word summit, it means the very top of a mountain. And that's why when you have the G7s and G8s and the different governments of the world meeting, that's a summit. Because the top officials or top representatives of these different governments are meeting together, for whatever purpose they're meeting. And when I looked at this symbol here, going through the zeros or the O's, it reminded me of the EU symbol or the euro symbol. Now the euro is the currency, the current currency of European nations. Now each European nation had their own currency, but when the euro came in, it pretty much consolidated all of these different, European nations together, right? Because the way that Esau does his thing is to, bring everything together in a union. That's why you had the European Union, the African Union. They were, trying to get the American Union, because once you join these different regions together, it'll be easier to join the whole world together. And like I said, I don't. This is just something I was looking at. Just the spirit, putting in my mind. I was just looking at it, and it makes sense that this whole World Economic Forum, which is pretty much based out of Europe, and they're the ones through America that's leading, the fight ahead, for lack of better words, of this agenda of theirs, a new world order. And then, it just got me to thinking about the economy, because the best way to control a country or region or whatever the case may be is by having control of the monetary system. This is why Meyer Anshelbauer always said, or he said, give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes the laws. Because through the economy, that's pretty much how you can control a nation. Now, when we look up this word economy, right, it comes from the Greek word oikonomia, right, which really basically means household management. When you break the word oikonomia out, oikos is where you get the word house, and nomos is manager or steward. That's why you have Spanish economia, German economia, from Greek oikonomia, household management, thrift. From oikonos, manager, steward. From oikos, house, abode, dwelling. And nomos, managing. See? So oiko, nomos is house managing. From the main manage, so you get the idea. So the word economy simply means house management. And the way you keep a house going is by having the proper, because you can't, even if you have a property, even if you know what to do to maintain it, the yard outside, the plumbing, the electrical, the upkeep of the house. You may know everything there is to maintain a house, but if you don't have the funds to maintain the house, it's all in vain. And this is pretty much what these devils are doing. They're trying to destabilize all of the, which they have been doing, all of the economies of the world, to come up with a solution of, bringing the world together economically under one total global rule, one government, one religion, one monetary system. And that monetary system is based upon the MOTB, which is the micro CHIP, which is what the so-called elite want to do. They want to have everyone tagged so that they can control everything. And there was a lady from the West, I'm not sure if she was in this panel, but she actually said that, no, she's not in here. She was a fat Edomite woman, and pretty much she said that through this digital system that they're pushing out, it's possible to track damn near every transaction out there, and that's pretty much what they want. These devils want every penny, every cent that everyone makes on the earth, on the planet, and this is why they're pushing this whole economy in the direction of the digital system, because it's easier to track. See, right now, if you're using cash, or if you're using the barter system, they can't track that. But everything done online, they can track it. This is why you'll go online. You might go to you might be looking for a particular supplement, or you might be looking for a particular food, and then when you go to other pages, to look up, maybe to look up a story on the news or whatever the case may be, on the side you'll see, ads popping up based off of what you already viewed or purchased online. Because this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to build, or they're not trying, they're building, what each individual likes, what they, to cater to everybody, because they want to put everything digitally. So you have no privacy whatsoever. All right. So now I typed in destabilizing an economy. It says, what does it mean to destabilize the economy? The action of making a government, area, or political group lose power or control or making a political or economic situation less strong or safe by causing changes and problems. All right, and when you go also, the way you destabilize an economy is by devaluing the currency. Devaluing the currency, because when you devalue a currency, you make that so-called money of that particular nation, you know, less of value, meaning that you have to use more of those dollars to purchase something that you may have purchased with half that amount maybe 6 months ago or a year ago, right? You also have something called devaluing currency. That's how you destabilize the economy, by devaluing the currency. And one of the greatest examples of that is Rome. When they had the denarius, when the denarius first came out, the denarius, which was the common coin of the Roman Empire, was 100% silver. Then eventually, through process of time, they started to devalue it, make it smaller, adding other inferior metals to it. Therefore, it took a lot more of those to buy something that you could have bought 6 months or a year ago, for less of that currency. So it says devaluing currency, and they try to make it seem like devaluing currency is a good thing. It says currency devaluation involves taking measures to strategically lower the purchasing power of a nation's own currency, which that's exactly what it is. Countries may pursue such a strategy to gain a competitive edge in global trade and reduce sovereign debt burdens. So pretty much they're making it seem like it's a good thing, but it's not. All right, when you come down here, it says, how do you devalue your own currency? There are several ways that a central bank, this is key, central bank, because everything is centralized. You had two central banks in America that lost their charter because their charters were only good for 20 years. One back in the 1700s, one in the 1800s. That's why you had these different wars, because the bankers were mad that they didn't renew their charter. And then the last central bank, or third central bank of America, was the Federal Reserve. All right, and that was painted to the public, to politicians and people that were in power, so-called, as a governmental agency to help people, and it was not. It was pretty much to disguise as a government agency to centralize the economy of America. Therefore, they can regulate the value of the money and bring it up or down. And when they introduced the paper dollars, they introduced them first as silver and gold certificates. But after a while, they took all of that out. They took the silver and gold certificate off of these paper dollars, and now you just have debt-bearing notes. All right? It says there are several ways that a central bank in charge of a free-floating currency can try to depreciate its value. Quantitative easing, lowering interest rates, and intervention buying, controlling capital flows, diplomacy, and threats. But pretty much, it's just making the currency less of value so that you will have to pay more to buy or to purchase, meaning it will lose its purchasing power. Now, when we go to the scriptures, right, you have in the book of Genesis, right, 13th chapter, right, I'm going to read the first and second verse. The point is in the second verse. And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the south. And Abram was very rich in what? Cattle, in silver, and in gold. And he was not rich in paper dollars. They didn't have paper dollars back then. You had substance. Now, our forefather Abram, whose name was later changed to Abraham, right? He didn't possess land. Land is also riches or wealth. But he didn't possess the land because he was a pilgrim. He was a sojourner in these different lands. But he did have very great riches. Then when Lot and him got together, they had such great riches that they had to separate from each other. And those riches came by way of cattle, silver, gold. Back then you had fabrics, You know, you had fruits, you had vegetation, so on and so forth. All of these are wealth. Now, when we go to the word money itself, because you have the word here, it said what? Cattle, silver, and gold, right? When we type in the word money into the scriptures, you know what? Let me get this other precept that keeps ringing in my head so I don't forget it. All right. When you type in the word money comes up 140 times in 123 verses. The first time it comes up is in the book of Genesis 17 and 12. And he that is 8 days old, this is the Most High speaking to Abraham, shall be circumcised among you. Every man child in your generations, he that is born in a house or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed. Now, when we look up this word money, this is where the key is at. Because when you say money to Jake is thinking in dollar bills, racks, stacks, you know, whatever. But when you look up the word money in the scriptures, the Hebrew word there is kasap. Now, the Hebrew word kasap is silver. All right? If we go back to Genesis, right, where we were at, the 13th chapter and the 2nd verse, and you click on the word silver, you're going to see the same word, kasap. See? Silver, money. Silver as metal, as ornament, as color. Money, shekels, talents. Shekels is another, is a weight of money. Talents is a weight of money. Shekels, talents. You have dollars today. Dollars are not money. Dollars are a measurement of money. We learned that from, G. Edward Griffin, who did a presentation on the creature from Jekyll Island. And he broke down all of that, as far as, the weight of money. All right, because when you look up the word money itself, right? Let's go and just look up the word money. Check this out. For those of you that don't know. When you look up the word money pretty much goes back to the word mint. Now the word mint, matter of fact, let's get that first and then we'll come back to this. The word mint, right? Let's see what we got here. That's a mint. That's a different type of mint. Right, mint. Place where money is coined. Because when you go to the Constitution, it says in the Article 1, Section 8 and Section 10 that money is supposed to be, actually, the only thing that can be used as currency is silver or gold coins. See? And when you introduce paper dollars without anything backing it, you destabilize the currency of a particular economy because there's nothing there to regulate it. Except for just, okay, today is good, tomorrow's bad. This is why someone, I forgot who it was, they asked this particular senator or governor or whatever he was, what's the stock market going to do? He said it's going to fluctuate. You see, it all depends on what side of the bed they woke up that morning or what their plans are. Here you see the word mint, you see the word coin, coinage, money. Mint, Spanish is moneda, which is also like a coin. All right? So you get the idea. When we go back to the word money, it says funds means anything convertible into money. Coinage, coin, metal, currency. No, it says nothing about paper dollars. Now, when you look up, I believe that's in the United States Code. I forget which one it is. I don't know if it was Title 31. I forget, it's been a while. But it says that money is expressed in dollars. That's an expression, dollars. Dollars is not money. Dollars is a measurement of money. Like a quart, a gallon, a liter, whatever the case may be. Those are not substances. Those are measurements of substances. So if you go to the store and you ask somebody for a pound of something, let me get a pound. What's the first thing they're going to ask you? A pound of what? You want a pound of wheat? You want a pound of, a pound of. I was thinking about this crazy movie, Half Baked. I'll take a pound of your sweetest chiba. It's like, but they're gonna ask you what you need: a pound of sugar, a pound of salt, because pound is not money. Pound is a measurement of money, right? So dealing with measurements, which brings in this next word, scripture, Leviticus 19 and 35, which these devils know the scriptures because Moses Amschel Bauer, who was the father of Maya Amschel Bauer, he was a rabbi. So they know the Torah back and forth. So it says, you shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meat yard, in weight, or in measure. Because when we go to the Apocrypha, right, in the book of Ecclesiasticus, I believe it's the 33rd chapter or the 27th chapter. Matter of fact, let me try 27 first. Beautiful. Ecclesiasticus 27 and 2. As the nail sticketh fast between the joining of the stones, so doth sin stick close between buying and selling. Right, because you can go to a market. They used to have the Agora, outside market. And you can purchase 5 pounds of potatoes, let's say. They'll give you a sack with 5 pounds of potatoes in it. You get that sack home, and either two things. You could have a couple of stones in there to boost up the weight, or the individual that was selling you the product did something to manipulate the weights that he had to where he's making more money off of you than you are with substance. That's why it says, so does sin stick close between buying and selling. So you had different individuals out there that were not they were not honest. And when you're dealing with, buying and selling, the ones that make the most money are the ones that rob people. If you're an honest businessman, you're not going to really make money like that, because if you're honest, you're not going to make nothing. Sirach 26 and 29, a merchant shall hardly keep himself from doing wrong. See? Why? Because he's always going to find a way that he can make more money off of you than you getting a deal from him. And a huckster shall not be freed from sin. That's a jive time turkey, a con man. All right, so a merchant, which is what? A seller. He's not gonna keep himself from doing wrong, because his whole thing is about making money. And making money a lot of times does not equate giving the person that's buying the benefit, as we read here in Ecclesiasticus 27 and 2. As a nail sticketh fast between the joining of the stones, so doth sin stick close between buying and selling. Which brings us back to Leviticus 19:35. You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meat yard, in weight, or in measure. When we deal with weights and measures, Masha Qual. Matter of fact, there's another precept that came to mind. What we have here? Okay, we're done with this for now. Let me just pull this up so I don't forget it. You know how it is when you get older. Masha Qual. Masha Qual, heaviness, weight. Right? Let's see. They're not really. Okay, here we go. Masha Qual. Weight, act of weighing. The brass could not be weighed for abundance, so that it could not be weighed. So it's a weight. So you have a scale, and then you have weights. Let's see. I don't think we need any of these, but let me just use this one. So I don't. Let's see. me see what we could come up with. Here you go. This is a scale, right? And you would put the goods on one side and you would put the weights on the other side. This right here would be a weight. And you had different weights. You know, depending on, like today we measure stuff in America by pounds, you know, ounces, so on and so forth. Back then it was different. You had the ephod, you had, you know, different, you know, you had the talent, you had different, you know, terms. All right. So what you would do is you would take these, whatever substance they were made of, and you would put them on one side of the scale, right? And then you would, once you put this on this scale, this would tip all the way down. And what you would do is you would put the substance, whether it's flour, salt, sugar, whatever, on this side, and you would keep pouring until these two became equal. That's why, you know, if this weighed half a pound, once they met together, once you poured the rice or whatever here, and they met in the middle, that means that was a half a pound of that substance. But what happened was they would tweak these and make them, you know, heavier or less heavy, depending on what they were trying to accomplish, to make it seem that you're getting that amount for the price that you're paying, but you're not. You're actually getting less, and they're getting more. All right. Let's see. This is why in Micah 6 and 9 it says, "The Lord's voice crieth unto the city, and the man of wisdom shall see thy name." See the what? Thy name, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Hear ye the rod, which is the correction, and who hath appointed it? Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Are they yet the treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked, and the scant measure that is abominable? Because the Lord said, "A just weight is his delight." I think we could leave this, right? A just weight is his delight. Oh no, we need this back. All right. A just weight is his delight. Let me go back here. Let's go to should be Proverbs. There's a couple, Proverbs 11 and Proverbs 16. 11 and 1. Yep. Proverbs 11 and 1. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. See? So when you're selling, you know, when you're selling stuff, you're supposed to have a just weight. When you're dealing with Jake, you're supposed to have a just weight. You're not supposed to lend upon usury upon them or interest. You're supposed to give them their just due. So here we have false, we have balance. The word balance is ma'azanyam, which means scales, balances. See, a pair of scales, balances, which the word balances or scales is the word azanyam or azan, because ma is over from, azan is measure or balance. I mean, let me see, Salakia. Right, scales, balance, and then the yum at the end makes it plural, as you can see here, azan. Okay, and that's the scales. Now, let's go back. And the just weight, here you got a bun. Now, when you look at the word abun, see it says weight, here it says abun. The word abun is stone, because back then they would use stones for weights. So abun is stone, large or small. Common stone in natural state, stone as material of tablets, marble, hewn stone, precious stones, you know, so on and so forth. Stones containing metal, weight. See, a weight. Matter of fact, let's go back to this, where was it? Scale. Let me get rid of this. Let me backspace on that. Let me type in stone weights. Stone weights. Trying to find, here we go. Stone weights. that one ain't that big. Let's see if we can find a better one. These are ancient weights right here. Let's see if it'll open up. Nope. They had a lot of them, but sometimes, you know. Here we go. This is a good one. See? So you got 10 kilograms, 5 kilograms, so on and so forth. Well, depending on what, you know, what captivity or whatever society was thriving at that time, you will have different terminologies for the same thing. You have pounds, you have kilograms, you have, you know, milligrams, you have ounces, you know, depending on where you're at. Some places use liters, some places use, you know, different terminologies. You have solid weights, you have liquid weights, so on and so forth. And then if you wanted, you know, this amount of any of these, you would put one of these on one scale, and then you would fill the other scale until you reach the desired, you know, measurement. But like in anything, you know, there was no truthfulness or righteousness, because the ones that were selling were always looking how to get over. That's why here it says, "Are there yet the treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked, and the scant measure that is abominable?" And this is why the scriptures say that when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn, because they never get a fair shake. And really, the main people that really mourn are who? The poor, because these devils are constantly, you know, beating down the poor. You know, constantly taking away from the poor, becoming richer off of the poverty and oppression and there's another word of the poor. You know, the misfortunes of the poor. And that's what the Lord's going to deal with them. It says, "Shall I count them pure with the wicked balances, and with the bag of deceitful weights?" So let me see. Wicked balances should be the same word, mashaqual. Oh no, I'm sorry, ma'azanyam, right? The same one, azan, ma'azanyam. And then weight should be a bun, stone, because stones were used as weights. All right. Now, let's go from there. Was that it? Okay, no, here you go. Oh, beautiful. "For the rich men thereof are full of violence, and the inhabitants thereof have spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouth." Right, and they've been, you know, beating the world down through their misdeeds. I'm gonna hold this, you know, on deck just in case. So that's the word of bun, right? Yep. Let's see what. So we have here, back in Proverbs 11:1, "A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight." All right. Now, what else do we have? Going back to Leviticus 19 and 35 and 36. Let's read those two again. Where are we? Leviticus 19:35. "You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, in meat yard, in weight, and in measure. Just balances, just weights, a just ephah." See, because ephah and a just hin. Ephah and hin are weights. Weights here is a bun, stone. Ephah and a hin, these are types of measurements that we used in the past. And when you look at the word just, is the word righteous, which is tazadak. All right. So we look up the word ephah. Ayapah. Ephah, a dry measure of quantity. Yeah, because you had dry measurements, you have wet measurements. You have ounces, you have pounds. Okay? A dry measure of quantity equals to 3 seahs, 10 omers. These are all different weights in the ancient world. The same as the liquid measure bath. See, you also had bath. About imperial gallons, 40 liters. Rabbinical writings give sizes of 1/2 this amount. All right? So that's one type of measurement, an ephah. Then you had also hin, but it was a just hin, tazadak. The word there is hayan. Hayan, hin, a unit of measure about 5 quarts. A vessel holding a hin of liquid. So this was another liquid measurement. Okay? So everything was supposed to be done justly. But these devils done destroyed the economy of the world by their misdeeds. And that's why here in the West, the 666, this is Esau's whole thing. This is his number. The scriptures don't lie about this devil and his number. When we read Revelation 13 and 18, we may read up above, it says, here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, which breaks down to 666. And it's no coincidence that the symbol or logo for the WEF has 666 in it. And then they have this thing going through it, which I don't know exactly what it means, but when I first saw it, all I could think about was the euro symbol. And pretty much this is what they're going to use through the economy to bring the whole world together as one. So when we go back and you break this down, the 666 has 3 Greek letters, chi, psi, stigma. When you go here to blue letter, they don't break it down. Either they don't know or they don't want it out. But when you go to the word or the number or the letter, Greek letter stigma, it means something that's cut or pricked into somebody. And they keep talking about digital. They keep talking about the size of, the new money or whatever the case may be. And it's the size of actually it's a little smaller than a grain of rice, or it's about that size. And this is what they plan on using for future purchases. And that's why everything now is, oh wow, this is great. You can walk in the store, there's nobody there, there's no clerk, there's nobody there, you just grab what you need and leave. And it just takes it off of your card or whatever the case may be. Because this is what they plan on doing. Now, another interesting fact, when you read Revelation 17 and 5, it says, and upon her forehead was a name written, mystery, because it's a mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth, which are all descriptions of America. But when you go to each phrase, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, abominations of the earth, when you go to the Hebrew, right? Because I've done a lesson on this before. When you go to the Hebrew in the book of Revelation 17 and 5, that phrase there, because the word sawad is mystery, the phrase here for Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth is Babal, Hagadawala, Haya'ah, Amah, Hazanawath, Washakwa Watazaya, Ha'arataza. Right? So this right here, when you break down each phrase here, Babal Hagadawala being one of them, you get, when you add all the numbers up, because each one of these letters in the Hebrew has a numerical value. You could type in Hebrew letters and then numerical value, and they'll give you the numerical value. A being 1, Ba meaning 2, Ga meaning 3, Da meaning 4, all the way to Ya, which is 10. Then the cycle starts again. Ya 11, Ya Ba 12, Ya Ga 13, because Ya is 10, A is 1. 10 and 1 is what? 11. Ya Ba, Ya is 10, Ba is 2. 10 and 2 is what? 12. So on and so forth. Till you get to the I believe it's Ka. Ka is 20. And then you got Ka 21, Ka Ba 22. All right? So when you break this phrase down, Ba 2, La is I believe that's 30. Right? And then you go through each one of these, and once you get all of the numbers for every letter, you add all those numbers together, it is going to add up to a 6. Now, when you go through the Hebrew in the New Testament, you have different versions. So some of them don't work. Some of them have, because it's Babylon the Great, mother of harlots, abominations of the earth. And you have and, which is a wa, you have to remove that in certain cases because you're looking for the root word of that particular phrase in the Hebrew to add up to 6. So each one of these phrases, which is 3 phrases, they all add up to 666 when you break it down. If you type in, I think it's Revelation 17 and 5 on my channel, it should come up. I forget exactly how I worded it, but if you type in Revelation 17 and 5, it should come up, and I go into the breakdown of the 666 and what it means, which we learned from High Priest Ariah, by the way. Okay? So this is their number, because here, back in Revelation 13, and it says what? It says, here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man. This is their number. This is where their number, this is where they get their power from. This is where they thrive off of. And his number is 603. And when you go through the book of Revelation, dealing with the word number, let's see how many times it pops up. Nope, I need the actual number. And it's going to come up many times. But here, we're going to go all the way to Revelation. And it starts off in the book of Revelation 13. And 17, and then no man might buy or sell save he that had the MARK or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Revelation 13:18, which is read, here is wisdom, let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603. Revelation 15:2, and I saw it as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire. This is dealing with the elect when they be delivered out of America. And the Apostle John, being one of the elect, looking down, he didn't realize he was in the chariot being saved, looking down upon America on fire. And them that had gotten victory over the beast and over his image and over his MARK and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass having the harps of the Most High. Revelation 20:8, and he shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them to battle. The number of whom is ascended. You see, this number is going into something else. It's going into Armageddon, Valley of Jehoshaphat. But you get the idea. You get the gist of it. Now, going back here, just want to check out something real quick on the word number. Right, arithmos was where you get the word arithmetic from. See, the English words you have, a lot of them go back to Greek. Arithmos, arithmetic. It says a fixed and definite number, an indefinite number, a multitude. Okay, so that was pretty much the point. So when we're dealing with this devil and the state of the world today and the direction that the economies of the world are heading, you could see, that the whole MOTB system is in place. All they have to do is, get people connected to it. That's why they're getting everybody used to, using their eye scans or their fingerprints or their face scans, or whatever. Because biometrically, they want to merge everyone with the internet, pretty much, so they could track everybody easily. They want to be like the Most High, knowing where everyone's at, knowing your thoughts. They want everything. They don't want you to have any thought of your own. Your whole being, they want to control everything. Like in the movie 1984. If you had a thought of your own, they would call you what? A thought criminal. You're a thought criminal. You see? Because they want to control everything. And this is the best way to do it. Because these devils use food as a weapon. They use starvation and hunger as a weapon. They use fear as a weapon. They use deception as a weapon. And all these things are going to bring the average person into this MOTB system. And the majority of the world is going to be deceived into accepting it. But the beautiful thing about this truth is that the elect will not be deceived. Matthew 24:24. For there shall arise false anointeds and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. But they can't deceive the very elect because they are just that, the elect. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8. And that, matter of fact, I started 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. What is the mystery of iniquity? The mystery of sin. Who is the wicked? Who is the one that thrives off of wickedness? You know? You look at all of the empires of the world. All empires, all nations are wicked. But there is one nation that thrives off of wickedness. And that is Esau, the so-called white man. Matter of fact, where are we at? Which one of these tabs do I have open? This one here. Let me bring this back here. Let's go to the book of 1 Maccabees. First chapter. 7th verse. So Alexander reigned 12 years. Who was Alexander? Alexander the Greek. They call him the Great. And he was an Edomite that took over those regions of Macedonia and Greece and all of that, and they call themselves Greeks. And they removed the ancient Japhetic people, brown-skinned Japhetic people out of those lands and took over those lands. That's why today the Greeks are associated with so-called white people. But they're really brown-skinned people, the original inhabitants of those lands, which were moved out. All right? It says, so Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves, meaning what? They ruled when the righteous are in authority. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. And that's why evils were multiplied in the earth, because the wicked Esau was in power. That's why the Apostle Paul said, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Because at the time when this was written, the Apostle Paul was in the Roman Empire. And around this time, he was pretty much in litigation. In litigation for his life. For the gospel. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. So the Most High is going to allow these devils to do what they do until he be taken out of the way, because the Lord knows that they have, you know, a set amount of time to rule. And they have to bring certain things to pass before the Lord can take it to the next phase. Right? Even though the Lord is controlling everything. It says, and then shall the wicked be revealed. The wicked is going to be revealed when? When it's time for them to go down. When it's time for them to be taken out of the way. First step is, you know, to reveal, right? Discovery. Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. The Lord is letting you know that he's going to use his prophets to expose these devils. And that's how we know we're at the end. And then after he's exposed, after he's given his sentence, right? After he's given his judgment, his sentence, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, then the judgment comes. But the thing about it is, the ones that are in power, the so-called elite, the ruling elite, the bankers of the world, beginning with the Edomite bankers and the other bankers, they will lose everything, but they themselves, the majority of them, are going to be alive, because their first step into paying back the world is what? To go into captivity, into slavery. All right? That's how they're going to make everything right. According to their substance shall the restitution be. And they have the world as a substance. They had created a lot of heartaches, a lot of murders, a lot of deaths on the planet Earth based off of these devils. And so the only way they can pay is to the Lord to strip them of everything and then make them go into captivity. You see? Then it goes on to say, even him who's coming is after the working of Satan, because they are the devil, with all power and signs and lying wonders. And this is how they're going to deceive the majority of the people, of the world. Now, I believe that's in Revelation, the 19th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. And with him the false prophet. Revelation 19:20, And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that have received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire. And his image is not talking about the picture of Caesar Borgia. His image is the Roman Empire. You know, them pretty much rehashing the Roman Empire. Because when we go back to Revelation 13, right? When you read from the beginning, it tells you that one of his heads were wounded as it were unto death. Then when we come back, when you go down to the 11th verse, it says that I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, which is really the same beast. And he had two horns like a lamb that represents their bipartisan Congress and all of that. And he spake as a dragon through their legislation. And he, meaning this new beast, exercised all the power of the first beast before him. And what is that? They came back into power as the ancient Roman Empire, and they used a lot of those same tactics that the ancient Roman Empire used. They're using it right now. That's why when you go to Congress, you go to school, you go to law and all of that. Everything is in what? Law terms are in Latin. You learn Roman numerals in school. You know, when you go to governmental building, not your average building and all that, or your average house. When you go to governmental buildings, they're all stylized as the ancient Roman Empire was. And that's how they gave power or exercised the power on the first beast before him. This is his image. You see? And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And how was it healed? Through America, beginning through the Renaissance. All right? And that's how they worship the first beast before them, because they're all bowing down to trying to word it in, they're all bowing down to the ways of ancient Rome that were resuscitated or revived through America. All right? And one of the main things that they're doing right now is gathering the whole world together to bring a new world order through the monetary system that they put in place, and bankrupting and devaluing the currencies and destabilizing the economies of the world in order to accomplish this. So we got to come to a solution. That's what the World Economic Forum is all about. Coming together, hammering out policies for the future of the economies of the world. And that's why in the same book of Revelation, right, the 3rd chapter, in the 10th verse, it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, dealing with the elect, which shall come upon all the world, meaning the entire planet. When you look up this word world in the Greek, it's the entire planet. And try them that dwell upon the earth. When you look up this word earth, it's talking about the whole entire planet. Okay? Now, let's look up this word temptation. From the hour of temptation, because there's going to be a time of temptation. Peirasmos, which goes to an experiment, attempt, trial, proving. So there's going to be an experiment of proving of every last one of us. And we pray that we hold up to these trials, to this temptation, to this proving, because that's going to be the final test to cement the elect. It says trial proven, the trial made of you by my bodily condition. This is another type of trial, but it's the same type of trial because it's a temptation. Since conditions serve as to test the love of the Galatians towards the Apostle Paul, let's see. The trial of man's fidelity, integrity, virtue, constancy, an internal temptation to sin. An enticement to sin, temptation, whether arising from the desires of or from the outward circumstances. There's another good one here. Of the condition of things or a mental state by which we are enticed to sin, or to elapse from the faith and holiness. Adversity, affliction, trouble sent by the Most High as serving to test or prove one's character, faith, holiness. See? So the Lord said he's going to protect the elect from that hour. But the rest of the world is not going to be protected. The rest of the world is going to be in a bad case. You know, and the majority of Israelites in America are going to take that MOTB. All right? And that's what this is all about. The WEF, World Economic Forum, you know, 000, 15, 15, 15, each one of those add up to 666. And that's the number of this man. And they thrive off of that number. You know? I wanted to name it Wah Wah Wah, but you know, you can't. I don't really have the Hebrew fonts on my computer to do that. You know? So I just named it 000, which breaks down to 666. All right, so with that, you know, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say Shalom.